guys, this is Trent. As you can see, I am sitting in front of my brand new desk setup and I am enjoying every minute of it. On my last episode of Trent Sense, I told you guys that I was particularly shocked that I ended up returning to one particular device. I'll just go ahead and show it to you guys. Yep, the Nokia N97. I went back to it recently under AT&T. After downloading the most recent firmware version of number 20 onto the N97, I have to say that the user experience is not as bad as it used to be. You know, it's a lot more fluid. There's kinetic scrolling throughout different parts of the interface. It's somewhat more stable than it used to be when it was first released. But at the same time, with any device, the Nokia N97 still is not perfect. You still have to make a few compromises with whatever device you happen to have. I am sure you guys are surprised to see this Nokia N97 back again with me. I am filming this to let you guys know what I experience in regards to updating the firmware of my Nokia N97 with the Nokia software updater. My Nokia N97 showing that it has the firmware version of 12.2.024 and the current update available is 20.2.019. As you can see, there are a number of different improvements. Right now it's downloading the update. We have a progress bar. And the screen on the N97 has become illuminated in white. See, the update has finally finished. Software update is complete. And the current firmware version is finally 20.2.019. I do understand that I do look like a hypocrite going back to the Nokia N97, but quite honestly, what happened was I eventually realized that after I had given such a harsh review on the first release of the N97, I moved on to other phones, and those other phones really could not give me the same kind of functionality as the N97. To have the combination of a touchscreen interface with a hardware QWERTY keypad that was also combined with the multimedia prowess of an advanced camera, it was basic. It couldn't be beat. That kind of combination is very hard to come by on a smartphone, and I wanted to capitalize on that for as long as possible, especially after I realized that there was a new firmware update coming for this particular device. So at the end of the day, once I got over the fact that the QWERTY feedback wasn't what I wanted it to be, I basically just had to suck it up, stop being such a phone snob, and realize that this phone, even though it's not the ideal perfect device, it can work for my needs as long as I strive to make them work. As you can see, there's kinetic scrolling throughout the entire interface. It works fairly well for the most part. There's no need to use that little wonky scroll bar on the side that you used to have to do with the previous firmware. In the listing of all the individual songs, you have album art located to the left of each entry, which is very nice to have. If there is no album art, it just basically puts a generic music note right next to it. Even though the kinetic scrolling keeps up with my finger motions, the operating system itself still has to take a while to register the album art next to each entry. Another thing that I did notice in navigating each track was that if I take my stylus or my nail and put it onto the scroll bar and scroll it like so, you will see that there is a quick access to certain letters on the list. Another great change from the new firmware is copy and pasting via the QWERTY keypad. Now, in order to copy this text with the new firmware, all I have to do is highlight it and then hold down the Shift key. Once you hold down the Shift key, you will see the command for copy appear in the lower right-hand corner of the screen, and you just press it, and there you go. Text copied to clipboard. You do the exact same command to paste it. You hold down the Shift key, like so, and then you have the command for paste that appears in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. You press it, and boom. You've got your text that shows up. Usually, with the previous firmware, in order to input any secondary characters, you had to always press the function key on the lower right-hand corner of the keypad. But that doesn't have to be done anymore. Whenever you want to put in a secondary character, such as a number, all you have to do is hold down the button, and it changes it to that specific character. Very nice. Before the firmware update, this time widget was frozen to the top part of the screen and could not be moved anywhere, but now all of that has changed, as you can see. Having such a compact device, being able to do so much in regards to, a touch interface paired with a QWERTY keypad, and also having a 5-megapixel camera that takes very good photos and video footage as well, it's a very hard combination to beat in regards to what else happens to be out there right now. The only thing dragging down the N97, in my opinion, is the RAM. Having to worry about managing the amount of RAM that's being used, depending on how many applications are running at the same time, is very tiresome. It gets old after a while because you feel like you're babysitting your phone. You want to get to, well, I don't know about most users out there, but I know that when I'm using my phone, I want to get to a point to where I don't have to think about anything. I don't want to have to worry about, oh my gosh, is this application going to run or is it going to shut down because I don't have enough RAM? I didn't want to have to deal with that day in and day out with the N97. The N97 is a lot more stable with the version 20 firmware, and I was particularly happy with it for the past few weeks. But something else has happened to where I'm not going to hold on to this N97 any longer. I'm going to return it back to Amazon.com and recoup the cost of this phone to make up for another purchase that I recently made. I have decided to leave AT&T for T-Mobile. A number of years had gone by when I was with AT&T paying about $85 a month. Granted, I did have a number of different employee discounts that took 14% off of my monthly bill, but at the same time, I wasn't getting unlimited everything for that price. When T-Mobile released the Even More Plus plan, I was shocked to discover that this particular plan not only gives me unlimited everything for $80 a month, but it gives it to me without having to be on a contract. It's basically a month-to-month agreement for $80 a month. So at the end of the day, it didn't take a rocket scientist to realize that moving to T-Mobile for me was the best move, hands down. Now, the fact that T-Mobile is just now starting to build up its 3G network had to be taken into consideration. The fact that T-Mobile wasn't really always known for strong service in years past, I had to take that into consideration as well. Well, in the metropolitan area of Hampton Roads, it got to the point where AT&T's 3G network didn't really seem as fast as it used to be when it first came out. I remembered having the AT&T Tilt and the Titan 2, and I remembered having blazing fast data speeds when it came to downloading the internet and downloading messages and emails. I remember that. But eventually, over time, I don't know if it could be attributed to the fact that there were many more customers that got signed on to AT&T since then. I don't know if it can be attributed to AT&T getting lazy and not really putting forth effort in upgrading its 3G network. I don't know what happened. All I know is that 3G on AT&T was not as fast as it used to be. So taking the risk of going with T-Mobile, who is just now starting up its 3G network in this area of Hampton Roads, it was worth a shot to take that risk. It really was, especially considering that I didn't have to be under a 2-year contract. It was basically a month-to-month agreement that I paid for, and on top of that, everything is unlimited. All I know is that right now I am a T-Mobile customer and I am basically paying the same exact amount that I was paying to AT&T for considerably a lot less. And another thing, I don't want any of you guys thinking that I went to T-Mobile for the Nokia N900 because, you know, T-Mobile happens to have that one 3G frequency that's compatible with that particular device. Nope, that's not the case. Moving from one carrier to another for a device, I think is just, it's not the wisest move. But I basically had to do what I had to do. And getting unlimited everything for 80 bucks a month, no questions asked, that was the best move that I could have ever made, and I'm happy that I did it. So with all of that being said, I will have to post another video letting you guys know exactly what device I decided to go with under T-Mobile, and you'll find it out at that point. Until then, I do have a couple more surprises in store for you guys. One of them happens to be sitting right here next to me on my desk in this cardboard box. I am not going to share what it is at this point. You'll just have to stay tuned and wait and see what the unboxing is all about. So, with all of that being said, all of you guys take care and stay safe.